Hello everyone, and welcome back to my movie reviews today. I'm going to give you new reviews, and I've got two movies for you guys today that I'm going to review, which I saw over a week ago. So it's had some time for me to sink in, even though it's not at the zeitgeist when these movies were out and getting the word that they had. But I'm giving you my reviews for The Many Saints in Newark and Halloween Kills. And let's talk about The Many Saints in Newark first, because this is supposedly the prequel movie that doesn't really indirectly lead into The Sopranos, but is a prequel, essentially. And for someone who hasn't seen The Sopranos at all, but I definitely know of it, like things about it. I have very little to know about this movie, and a couple of my friends have seen The Sopranos, so I'm definitely taking this, for me at least, as like my bouncing point into watching the series. And as far as it goes, it gives a rather mixed, though pretty solid foundational approach towards the series. Now, what I do like about this movie a lot is the cast, the acting, and how it kind of goes with the film. The film doesn't really have much of a archetypical three-movie arc, like the introduction, the rise, the fall, the build, and end, as a typical movie would. This movie kind of flows through, and it doesn't really give, and it has much more of a narrative flow to it, like how a TV show would. But it feels, with that type of approach to a story, it felt more natural of what happened within the storyline of the movie, though I felt like I wasn't truly invested because it didn't really give that much of truly a really engaging understanding of the characters, though I did enjoy a lot of them. And the main kid in this, which is Michael Gandolfini, who plays his father's ever iconic role, who unfortunately passed away back in 2014, he plays the late role of his father in the many iconic TV show of The Sopranos. And honestly, he did a remarkable job. I thought he was really great in this movie. And I feel like in this review for this movie, I'm seeing a lot of good things, and then there's a rebuttal to that good thing. Like, I liked him in this movie. I thought it was really good. I wish there was more of him. I thought this was going to be like a biopic type of story on him, rather than the many... the tone this movie shows like it's the many saints in Newark. So it's almost like the people who influenced him and how they went about conducting the business. And from what I've heard from my friends is that this movie sets up certain things that will be shown in the show later. And so, in my view, it felt like certain things just had happened, and it felt inconsequential. And I'm like, it doesn't really work for a film because nothing kind of came to truth or fruition about certain actions. So this kind of happened. And it's very weird how that kind of weird. But for the most part, I thought most of the characters were really good. I liked it. I felt very much invested. Anything with John Bernthal, I'm on board because he's just that good of an actor, and I thought he was really good in this movie. Ray Liotta, Via Farmiga as his mom, and Joey Diaz, like many people in this movie are just really good in their roles, and that's a strength about this movie. They felt like very natural fits for the characters. I just wish there was more of a character arc to this movie rather than the narrative story just kind of meandering along and showing what happens much more in a typical TV episode way. I feel like this would have worked if this was a pilot prequel thing rather than a singular movie, because it doesn't really fit for a film, because it just kind of flows throughout it, and there's not really that atypical three-movie arc angle that happens within it. And it feels both surprising and yet kind of weirdly misleading because of that, because it's very weird to describe this movie within this arc and everything that happens. Like, I was invested. I really liked a lot of the story. I will say, its focus on the black community and all that in the protests of what's going on within the film wasn't really as strong, though it was well performed, and I liked certain characters. It just wasn't as strong. I just wasn't as invested as in that as it was with the Soprano family. And because everything with them, I thought was really good. I thought it was really investing. I thought it was great drama, and I always felt invested for them and their lives. It's just that the other part of the movie just wasn't as strong in comparison. Not to mention, the movie just kind of ends, but that's what I've heard of the show is. It's like, it just kind of ends. And I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, what? But anyway, I thought the mini scenes in Newark was just good. I thought it was really good. Everything within the main family in itself, I thought was really worthwhile, really worth investing. I saw why and how these other characters influenced someone like Tony, and how he came to that rise of power with the influence and the mind, the intelligence, the charisma, and that power-hungry mind, and how that grows within him. I thought it was really good. I just wanted more of that, of how the story inspired him more, and see more of his rise, rather than the people who influenced him and how they connected their lives. I just wish the story was a little bit more centered on Tony himself, even though he was performed very well in this movie. But yeah, overall, I thought The Many Saints in Newark was I would say it's good. I thought it was a good kick-off into a series that I'm going to start watching, though I wish it just could have been a little bit more well executed within story and character focus, rather than having the narrative thrust and the natural characters breathing their life within it, even though I thought that was done well enough. I liked it, and I'm glad I saw it. I just wondered to myself, could it have been worked better as a prequel, like, mini-series as it would have? Or, I don't know. I don't know if this really worked well, truly, as a film, but I thought it was enjoyable enough as a movie, though I don't know if it worked. Like, I enjoyed it as a movie. I just don't know if it really, like, I liked it enough and ticked off most of the boxes for me to enjoy it, but I just don't know, in truth, if it was, like, it could have been better. Like, there's a lot. It's one of those weird things that is, like, everything I do like, there's a counter-argument for it, and it's really hard for me to say why I do like it, though it's not perfect. In many sense, in Newark, I would probably give it a solid, I'd say, between 6.5 and 7 out of 10. Like, it's good enough that I enjoyed it, but it could have been a lot better. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this movie, and thank you everyone for watching as always. Till then, to my next review within Halloween Kills. So yeah, till then, cheers, peace, and stay safe.